Alright, so we have Carlston Harris versus Impa Kasanganay. So, this will be Impa's second fight at welterweight. Yeah, it's pretty big for the division, but Carlston Harris, he's pretty big for the division as well, for sure. Probably be roughly around size and frame, and just probably around the same weight on fight night. So, Impa Kasanganay is primarily a boxer. He's mostly throwing boxing combinations, for the most part. He's just throwing like a jab or an overhand, a jab to an overhand, a 3-2. Counter left hook is nice as well, but, mostly just fundamental boxing combinations. He will mix it in with the kicks every now and then, like a low calf kick. And Carlston has had issues defending leg kicks in the past. He doesn't seem to check them. He doesn't seem to like them very much. But Carlston Harris, like his striking is very unusual, but it's effective. He fights long, like he's got really long arms. Like I wouldn't be surprised if his reach is like 78 or 77 or something like that, or he just gets full extension of his arms, like his length, that he gets full extension of it, and he just looks like he has really long arms. But yeah, kind of flicks out the jab to the body, to the head. Throws a straight right, but with like weird technique. Like he kind of chucks it. Like kind of like, ever like chuck a ball or something, like a small ball, like a cricket ball or a tennis ball. You know how you just like throw it? Like you just kind of, it's hard to explain what a chuck is, but basically he just chucks his right hand. And he seems to generate some decent power from it, from what I've seen. He will overextend on it quite frequently, and that's going to happen if you are chucking your punches, really. And it does take a while for him to retract his weight distribution back to normal. So yeah, like weight distribution, retraction, overextension, just a little bit slow with those. But, as I said, he's got a weird striking style, but it's been effective for him so far in his career. But yeah, he will look to clinch up when his opponents do get close, and he will look for takedowns as well. He is tenacious when he wants to get the fight to the mat. He looks to duck under for a double leg, reactive double, and then, turn the corner and look for that body lock position. Most of his takedowns do come from that body lock. He likes the body lock to the outside leg trip or the inside leg trip. Just kind of throw the opponent from there. He's just very sticky with the body lock. When he does get you down, or if he does stuff a takedown himself, or if, he breaks your posture and, snaps you down, he'll go for an anaconda on a turtled opponent and look to really roll into that. I think that's his best move for sure. He's got a very tight squeeze on that anaconda, tight squeeze on rear naked chokes as well. Tight squeeze on any chokes really. When he does get on top, he will look to angle his opponent like parallel with the fence, so it's harder for them to get up. They can't really get onto a knee. They can't turn anywhere really because he's controlling one side with his body, and then the other side's being controlled by the fence. So he's pretty good on top. How these guys win fights, so for Carlston, he's good at sticking to opponents, on the mat, on the clinch. He's just very sticky. And he's got good cardio as well. Good cardio for Impa Kasanganay, good volume for Kasanganay, good pacing for Impa. How these guys lose fights, so for Impa, he's quite stiff, he's quite hittable on the feet, he seems quite stiff on the feet, seems just very tense, For Carlston Harris, it's the striking tendencies, path to victory for these two. So for Kasanganay, I think a counter striking approach would be good in this one. You kind of just wait till he overextends, which he will do. He's 100% going to do that. And then you counter. And then at distance, just throw leg kicks. He doesn't check them. Also, hope you've trained body lock defense, because that's what he goes for. So if you're able to, really, just break that body lock, get back at distance, you should be able to win here pretty easily. Don't give up position in the clinch, so don't get just pushed against the fence for a long period of time. Look to break the clinch immediately. Don't let him just stall on a position or a takedown. No takedowns of your own, because he's just too dangerous in scrambles. Like if he stuffs your takedown, there's a good chance you're going to get anaconded or dust or something like that, because he does have much better scrambles. He could stuff the takedown, circle around to the back, get the body lock from there. So I just wouldn't recommend Impa to shoot takedowns in this one. For Carlston Harris, look for takedowns and ground control. Look to grab the wrestling ride and control from there. Look for mat returns. Just control with that wrestling ride and that body lock position. Look for the anaconda. If you stuff a takedown of his and he's on all fours for whatever reason, maybe even if you knock him down or he slips and he's trying to get back to his feet, look for that anaconda grip. How I see this fight going? Impa, he's a slow starter on the feet, you know, the head movement, the footwork, and, you know, it doesn't really come along until the second round. Like, he gets loose in the second round, and then he starts, you know, being a bit more defensively sound. He definitely needs to settle into a fight, it seems, like he is a slow starter for sure. I believe this will improve as he gains experience in fighting, because he's only been fighting for like 2.5 years. I think he turned pro like start of 2019 or something like that. But yeah, so in his last fight, he came in with a grappling heavy approach against Palatnikov, and, you know, he's been coming in with pretty good game plans. You know, he seems, you know, to have pretty good fight IQ. And also, you know, the camp that he trains at, they normally come in with pretty good game plans at Sanford MMA. I reckon they're going to decide to keep this one on the feet. I feel like that's where he has the biggest advantage. I do believe he has a striking advantage. And I think they're going to tell him not to engage in the clinch or the grappling, because that is where Carlston Harris is best. So in that fight that Impa would much rather everyone forget. So Joaquin Buckley got Impa down with the body lock, like an outside leg trip from the body lock, and that's the exact takedown that Harris is going to go for. So Impa's got to be ready to defend that body lock all night, because Harris is not going to stop looking for it. And if Harris gets on top, he has decent top control. You know, not the most active guy in top position, but he's hard to shake off. Like when you try to get back to your feet, he's pretty sticky with it. He's just very sticky overall with his grappling. Kasanganay seems pretty hard to hold down, but again, limited sample size. Then this is the best grappler he's faced in his career, so it's hard to measure that. But ultimately, I believe he's the more well-rounded mixed martial artist, and I have faith that Sanford MMA is going to come in with a good, solid game plan, and it's going to be enough to nullify the dangerous Carlston Harris. Yeah, so I have Impa by decision. I think he does win a good chunk of the time. I've bet Impa at $1.80 or $1.77 or something like that, minus 130. So I get it. Harris is probably going to fight for your money. He's going to make the fight ugly, but I just feel like, just in the in-between, when I feel like Impa's really going to take over, and just, he's much better striker as well. I think he can just nullify the grappling and make Harris look a little bit silly if Harris isn't able to implement his usual clinch game plan type thing. But yeah, I'd bet Harris if like he was like $2.55 or 1 plus 155 or something like that, but not really interested in that price.